Well, hi, Susie Moman. Got a little doggy there.
Yeah, Pepper came to visit.
Oh, this is our former dog.
She's so adorable.
We're dog sitting for our son John Mark and his lovely wife Kat, and they're on their way to Florida to take a little vacation before they probably both are going to be employed and too busy to do that. Um, Real quickly, we just got back Sunday afternoon from 24 Hours at Sunset. Back of the shirt says what?
Wake up, it's your turn to run.
It's another time as a timed ultra. 3 weeks ago it was an 8-hour ultra, and then before that it was a standard 50K with couple other distances you could do. Real briefly, what was your experience there?
Oh, it was very good. I thought it was going to storm the whole time, so I had all the tarps up around the canopy, just ready for the storm to hit, and it never hit, so I should have just relaxed and gone with the flow.
Yeah.
I just like to be prepared. I'm a Boy Scout.
Yeah, really. And so we camped the night before at a camp on the other side of the park. Hopefully next year they'll let people camp right there at the site, because there was only two of us. Ben Benjamin, who's gotten to be a good friend now. We got to spend some time with. He's a lot of fun. A former Marine and
Bugler.
a bugler, and
Bugles
we
quite
had
well.
yeah. And so we went out together to eat on a day of a race. We went to Bob Evans. They ate a big breakfast because it didn't start till noon. So, what did you think about crewing me for an event that went all night long?
Well, I didn't really crew you
Didn't
all
have to
night.
crew. Yeah, I didn't need to, because during the night I took a little rest, as I'll mention in a little bit, and so she had some things ready for me. But we're getting more of a routine of how we do things, and she just automatically grabs my pack and fills it with water while I'm yakking with people, and then off I go to get out of there. And
You ran all night long, and I slept all night long.
because we needed to drive back. And so what did you say to me when I was approaching 50 miles?
Like, get back out there.
Get back out there, without any love in her voice. Get back out there.
You know, you need to run more than 50, because
Yeah.
when we get home, you're going to say, I could have just gone one more lap.
Right. Yeah. So we were counting on 3.1, but it turned out it was 3. And so we still got it. So I ended up with a total of 54. And I'll talk briefly about my experience and what I learned. And you did a great job, and thank you so much. You did good. Oh, look. She didn't hurt herself. No, really, she didn't. She didn't hurt herself. Kind of repetitive thing with the mouse at work at the library. So she just kind of wears that to remind herself to be careful with her little thumb. All right?
Yep.
Well, thank you for your help.
Yep.
You did good. And Pepper, I guess it's okay.
Oh,
You're
I'm
here.
quite proud of you. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment.
I didn't have to tell her. I didn't have to lead her this time and tell her that. Thanks.
And you went more than you were.
Yes. Stop. No, stop. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you going to turn it off?
Oh, I was just thinking.
No.
Okay. So let me give you hopefully a little shorter race report than normal. As I mentioned with Susie here, we went to Valparaiso. Porter County, I think, has a series of parks, and this was a park called Sunset Hills, and it's called 24 Hours at Sunset. This was the second year of the event, so they had, I think, 3 or 4 more times the solo runners. You could be a solo ultra runner, you could be a team of 2 or a team of 10. And that was up to 10. You didn't have to have 10 on your team, and they were real loosey-goosey about how you did it. You could have one, each person run 3, and then they could run 2, and then you could have, you could really mix it all up, from what if I remember reading the rules. And so it reminded me of the Hawthorne Park that we were at 3 weeks ago, and there they were a little more tight about in order and all that kind of stuff. This year they had at this event, 24 Hours to Sunset, they had a festival going on. So what they did was, like last year, I assume they did the same way. It actually started at noon, and over on the other side of the park, over there, not far away, there was a music festival. So they had different bands, and most of them really pretty good. Only one kind of bugged me. And the bands went from 1 till 11. I think maybe even they went over a little bit. And so it was kind of nice hearing music, especially as you came around to finish your loop and you would run by. They had a couple of glitches. One was the fire marshal said it was okay for us to be running in that field, but I guess we're really not that far from the spectators. But they didn't want us running during the fireworks, and so at first they were going to stop the whole race for 45 minutes, and then just adjust the time at the end. Then they came up with a clever idea. At a certain point, you would be out on the course and run halfway, and then they would turn you around. You'd come back and just finish the loop during the first half twice. That did not appeal to me because the course, because of some hills. It was called Sunset Hills after all. It's a lot of grass. I mean, very well cut. I never ran into a hole or a molehill or anything. I mean, it was just no worries about that. Nicely cut, a lot of grass around some fields. And then as you came around within the first mile, you're going around, all of a sudden, you see everyone walking already, and all of a sudden it's an incline. You go, oh, and then it's kind of a short little incline going around, and all of a sudden you get up there and it plummets. Really nice steep hill that you either, really your best choices were to bomb it, or basically you're braking the whole time. You could do something in between, but and so you got to the bottom, kind of a sandy pit, and went way back up again, and then down, and then back up and around. You thought you were at the top, and you weren't around. Then once you got past those two hills, and they were tough, and they got, of course, bigger and bigger, more like mountains. One of the hills, and then of course you went up it, and then this one's not as bad, but you have to go up. It looks like you're done, you're not, and you go on up, way up to the top up there. So this was killer at any time, but definitely killer at nighttime. Wow. Then you got into the woods, which I loved. All of a sudden now you're in dirt, it's very shaded, and you went around, I'm trying to think about it, and then you end up back on some grass, you end up by the highway, and come back through a field, back into a little bit of woods, and you're back to the rally, and the timing mats. We were told it was a 5K race, but then when we got the official results online, they counted each loop as 3. So, you know, some of us, I thought I had 55.8, but I ended up with an even 54. You know, that's life. So I think the top runner did near 90, and he wasn't one of the youngest people either, which is not unusual at ultra events. I want to do it. So I did 54 miles. Did I take 24 hours to do it? No, not at all. I went around, and the first loop I think I did in 35 minutes. But the good thing was it was overcast the entire time. It looked like it was going to rain the whole time. One little point, in about my third loop, the sun was coming out some, and oh no, we're going, oh, I hope this, because you're exposed a lot. It didn't happen a lot. But so you had to watch where you were going, and I just completely forgot where I was. This is why I need Susie. Oh, so what I did was I pretty much went steady from noon on. Had a little late delay because somebody had an RV in the way on the course, not too far from the beginning. So then I pretty much was going pretty steady, but I would stop for a few minutes. Initially I was going to do the 60-second in and out, 60-second in. I just didn't worry about it. So I didn't really try to do a race simulation, okay? But I'd stop in 5 minutes or so. So if you see my splits, it's like, wait, you took 45 minutes or you took 60. No, I stopped at my our canopy and sat down, and then when I was all ready, then I go out. Now I'm crossing the mat. So it doesn't really show my actual time because I would stop before I'd actually finish that loop. And so I went quite a while, and sometimes took a little longer break if I need to fill up the water or whatever. Changed shirts a couple of times. Nothing. I never changed socks or shoes. And so I did a pretty good job of moving. I am finding out that more and more, which I'm very pleased with, is I'm now not sticking with a rigid like 3-minute run, 1-minute walk, 3-1. What I found was more comfortable and actually felt better was pretty much jogging. This was for quite a while, though some people, a couple guys, always saw me walking that I know in Indiana trail running. But for much of the first part of the race till dark, I would run, jog, and then now and then I just stop and do a 14-minute, 15-minute power walk. Get to any inclines or hills, definitely walked. But other than that, I did a whole lot more of that. And then as the night progressed, a lot of us that were out there at night, most people were doing some either real light jogging or moving along walking. And so that's what I did. When it got around getting near time for the fireworks, I stopped, and I didn't want to go back and come do those hills backwards. So I stopped then, and then kind of trying to decide what to do. And I think Ben, after the fireworks, he went on out and did another loop. He was already one ahead of me. We were always one apart. And I decided just to go ahead and lay down. And so it worked out, but I now know I don't want to do that unless I can really avoid it, because I lay down in the tent and it just wasn't comfortable. I was sore, and then when I got up, like I think it was 1:30, I got up and my one knee was hurting a little bit, ankles. Thought, oh, this may not be good. And I'm really not kidding, within a minute, it felt great. Everything went away because I was all loosened up. I just needed to keep going. So from 1:30 until pretty much until 10 o'clock, I'd say, I was out there going, okay? So I was back to doing the running, the jogging, the walking, and all that. Tried not to stop too long. Actually, I think around mile 45, 46, somewhere in there, it was one of my faster loops because I want to get these miles in. And so when I finished 16, I thought I was at 49.6 or something. I think that's what it was with the 3.1s. It turns out that was wrong. So I had to do one whole loop just to get it to 50. And as it turned out, I really was at 40. Well, whatever, I can't think right now. But I went ahead and did an extra. And then I stopped when it got about 2 hours before the finish. And I laid down, I laid down for a little while. And the sun was pouring, and I heard Ben go, "It's cooking out there." So I thought, I'm not going out. I woke up, I wasn't down real long, and all of a sudden I went, "Oh." And that's when I went back out and did another one. So I got up to 54, thought I was going to be 56. And I had time. I could have done 2 more, and yeah, that would have been okay if I'd done. I could have gotten up to 54. I could have gotten up near 60 miles. And that would have been nice if I could say that I did that, but I loved running at night. The bullfrogs, you felt like they were talking to you because you're running along, it's dead quiet. And I was by myself most of the time. There are 2 or 3 loops where I ended up with somebody and we just walked. And it had a great time talking, and it made us both move along. But you're going along, all of a sudden you hear, it sounds like someone's talking. They're going, "No, right there, bar. I know it looked awful, but it sounded like someone's talking to you, because it's quiet, and all of a sudden they would say something, and it just would startle you, And a couple of the women said they were kind of scared out there, like the bullfrog's going, "I'm going to get you. We're coming to get you." It was kind of freaky and funny at the same time. I really, really liked going at night alone. I used my headlight, and after all, that kind of hurts my sensitive head. So I had to get another toy. So I got one of these Go Motion vests. This is the back, and it has a flashing. I don't think it'll show right now, but it's got a light with 3 intensity levels. And if you do the lowest, it goes crazy hours. Even the middle intensity will go a long time. And you can, of course, adjust it up or down. And then it's got a flashing. Is it showing? Yeah, has a flashing LED. They asked us, if possible, have some kind of red flashing light like you would on a bike or a run or whatever. So it's just it just goes around you, and it's got a pack in here for batteries, and it's like $48 or something. And I think it's really worth it. And it's got some pockets you could put stuff in too. So I had the headlight and then sometimes I just took the headlight off. Towards belt, and I think that's probably enough. It was a good event, and so that's a 50K, and then 3 weeks later, got a 50K in Hawthorne, and then this one I got in 54 miles. How do I feel? I'm still tired, but I kind of recover well. Last night I had an hour where I had these little spasms going on in different places, just small ones, and they're pretty much over. So now I just have some kind of sore hamstrings. So I'm going to go out take a walk here. I'm thinking about doing a trail run in Brown County this weekend. I probably shouldn't, but I haven't decided yet. But I just kind of want to go over there. So we'll see if I go do that. A little race report, and hope you learned something. If not, why did you watch this? I have no clue why you watched this. And happy trails. We'll see you. Okay, do this lap, and then you have to you can take a rest, but you're going back out. And I go, I'm not feeling the love there. Every step is a PR.
Are you moving on?
Woo! Look at that!
Huh?
You're not done?
That's 49.6.
Oh, are you serious? Oh, okay. Oops.
A full lap then, Maddie.
I have to do another loop to get 50.
All right, well, keep going. Oops.